Psychological Skills Training. Goals by Coach Shannon. What is goal setting? Kind of have two definitions pointing at each other there, and they both indicate what a goal is: to record a desired target and to identify when achieved, steps towards your dreams, and actions to reach your dreams. So there's several different concepts going on there. One is to actually record, which means to write down a desired target, which could be anything that you have not necessarily done yet that you want to do, and identify when achieved. This means there's a timeline of when this thing will happen and or a due date. Steps towards your dreams and actions, so you're writing down the actual steps and the progression that it's going to take for you to reach your dreams. So in essence, you write down what you want to do, identify when you're going to have it achieved, so there's a timeline, and you're writing down step-by-step process of what it's actually going to take you to get there. And those are all key important concepts, as you'll see throughout this slideshow. Types of goals. Now there's essentially three types of goals, and you can really make it two types of goals. The outcome goal, which is what just about everybody is used to, right? I want to be a state champion, I want to be a junior national champion, I want to be an Olympic champion. Those are all result and or outcome based, and for the most part they are against an opponent, so that means you may not have complete control over them. So there's also a referee who's describing the score and indicating if that was a point or not a point. So these are somewhat out of your control. Nonetheless, result and outcome goals are what most people sort of focus on. If you kind of look at that triangle that's going on there, you can see how process and or performance goals lead to the outcome goal. Now, process and performance goals are real similar, but you can kind of break them down into two different parts of goals. Again, we're talking about types of goals. A process goal is what you would be doing every single day in practice. In order for you to master a double leg, there's a certain set of skills that you actually have to master before you can actually do the double leg. Maybe one is stance, maybe one is level change, maybe one is penetration step. And the performance of that actual skill, if you've mastered all of those basic skills to perform that particular skill, now you've got to do it at the right time. Now you got to have a setup. So can you see how process and performance goals are somewhat similar, but they're a little bit different? Nonetheless, both of them lead to outcome and or result goals. I think it's important for, everyone actually knows how to set an outcome goal. That's not real difficult. I think what is the important part of it is for students, athletes, and coaches and parents to understand the process and performance goals. Those will actually lead you to your outcome goals. So you need to, I think it's important to have those process and performance goals as a big part of the outcome goal. In other words, those should be the stair steps to get to the outcome goal. Focusing only on the outcome sometimes without the process and the performance goals is something that we need to really focus on. Goals are also time specific. So that last slide showed you the three types of goals, and I think you can narrow it down to two. All of those type of goals are going to have this sort of continuum and or circle, so that there's a time period that's being made. If this is going to, hopefully this will make sense to you. Dream goal. So I'm going to go in reverse, then I'll go back the other way. A dream goal is something that you want to happen, throughout your career or over the course of your career. And this is, if you, let's say you're 9 and by the time you're 19, 20 and go until you're 25 and 30, that's how you would want your career to be and or end. A long range goal. Now this could be like an Olympic quad or over the course of 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 years. So it's not necessarily a dream goal, but it's a little bit, a couple of steps backwards. Medium range goal. Now we sort of break our training down into periods, and that would be, let's say, like a competition period, and or the transition period, and or the preparation period. All of those are typically 2 to 3 months. Maybe the transition period is a little bit less. Maybe that's four weeks or less, 4 to 6 weeks. Nonetheless, that would be that time period over the range of a training cycle and or period. So 4 to 6 weeks or something like that. A short range goal would typically be about a week. We have training camps about a week long. Most of our training cycles are 8, 9, 10 weeks, so that would be probably a medium range goal. If you break it down into a training camp type environment, Team Illinois, for instance, does about a 10 or 12-day training camp. So those would be your shorter range goals. Daily goals, this is what you would be doing every single day in practice. Your coach typically will have some type of game plan at the beginning of practice. Here's what we're going to do today, everyone, blah, 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 and he would describe what specific skills you're going to be working on right at that moment. athletes should be setting their own goals. They probably have their own goals for that particular practice anyway. They're going to work on specific skills. As soon as they hear the practice plan, that's when they would immediately set up their daily goals for that particular practice. Repetition goals, this is how you actually get better at doing anything, right? You get better at doing things by practicing them over and over again. It's important to practice them the right way so you master that skill in that particular way that it's going to happen. And I suggest that it needs to be in competition, practice competitions, and then you back it all the way up to practice. But the repetition goal and the daily goal, those are things that are going to be kind of going on concurrently. And then, I think even in your competitions, the repetition of doing a skill successfully in competition a lot of times enhances and motivates people to set more goals. So I just pointed out all the different time allotments for the goals, and if you look at those outcome, performance, and process goals, most of your goals are going to fit into this one of those time frames. How does goal setting help? 3 different triangles there. If you look in the center and then you kind of go outwards, the goals are going to define the direction, the feedback, and the support. So number 1, goals can kind of tell you where you're going and how you're going to get there, and that would be the direction. Number 2, they're going to give you feedback. Did you achieve or not achieve your goals, and what steps do you need to get there? That's typically, you'll be able to, if you've written your goals down and you would achieve your goal and you follow that process, it's clear. And if you didn't follow that process, a lot of times when the goal's written down and you got a stair-step fashion of how it's actually going to be done, oh yeah, you know what, I didn't actually go through all of these things to reach my goal. And support. I think it's important to be motivated, and a lot of times if you fall short of your goal and you've got that thing written down, man, that can become extremely motivating. On the other hand, if you achieved your goal, that sometimes is motivating too, because now you want to set another goal. So goals help by giving you some direction, giving you some feedback, and supporting you when you achieve your goal and when you do not achieve your goal. Both, I think, are motivating, and if we understand it that way and we process it in our brain that way, the goals can become real helpful. Effects of goal setting. Again, I put goals in the center there because I think goals affect every single category on that page, and they kind of lead into each other. If we understand how goal setting works in our mind, we can build our confidence. If we consistently are doing them over and over again, that's going to increase our focus and our determination. And if those 2 categories are fulfilled, now our ability actually increases, and then our expectation for the next goal may be even higher. So they kind of work in a somewhat of a succession, where if we continue to do these things over and over and over again, you'll just continue to have higher and higher and higher expectations, which again is going to start that circle of success all over again. Your confidence is going to go up. You're going to continue to do the same things over again. You're going to have increased focus. You will be more determined because of your focus, and then of course that's going to increase your ability. If we fall short of our goals, I think this circle of success is still apparent. When you fall short of your goals, that should tell you, okay, maybe I need to change 1 or 2 things to increase my ability at affecting the process goals that I've set forth. Again, all of these are effects of goal setting. Goal getting model number 1. Now I've changed goal setting to goal getting because after we understand how to set goals, of course, the next logical process or thing to do would be to get your goal. So there's 2 different words written down here. I'm not going to read everything on that page. You can kind of take a look at that on the side, but I'd like for you to try to process this and listen to it and see if it makes sense to you. We scram. The reason why it's written in that form is so athletes can put their goals through that process. Do they meet all of these requirements? And if they do, it's probably a good goal. If your goals do not meet all those requirements, and some of them may not, you want to try to get as close to meeting all of those requirements as possible. So we scram is goal-getting model number 1. Goal-getting model number 2. Again, I say goal-getting because I think it's important to have that mindset of I'm actually going to go after this with all the determination, focus that I can muster up. SMART goals. This is what I actually go through with my teams. I explain to them in, the first couple of weeks of practice, this is what a SMART goal means, and this is how it can actually be accomplished. Again, goal-getting model number 1 and goal-getting model number 2, they are acronyms to keep athletes focused on how they should be setting goals and how they should be going about their goals. Either one of these models is going to be really effective and helpful. Combining both of these models or blending both of these models will also enhance your ability to set and or go get your goals. So the key to behavior changes is consistency and persistence under all circumstances. What does that mean? If you consistently are attacking your goals, if you are consistently getting your goals, and that means going after them again, again, and again, and again, that's going to keep you on track. And if you're persistent, meaning sometimes things don't go the way you want them to go, but you are consistent, you're going to keep doing it no matter what, that is going to change your behavior. Your behavior change is actually what makes who you are on an ongoing basis. So it's important, I just throw that in there at the end, it's important if you use either one of these goal-getting models, number one and number two, understanding consistency and persistence is going to help you attain your goals as well. That's the end of the slideshow, psychological skills training, goals. I just want to point out that all of the information presented in this slideshow was derived from the United States Ski and Snowboard Association Elite Performance Video Series, Sports Psychology in 2004. That year in 2004, that was my first year at the United States Olympic Education Center. I was a national team coach with USA Wrestling, and from time to time would talk to the different coaches, and one day I went into the ski office, and this guy had all this, this amazing resources there, and I'm just like, holy cow, can I take a look at that? And he's just like, why don't I just give it to you, and you can hold on to it for 3 or 4 weeks. So it was essentially about a 2 or 3 hour video kind of scenario with a bunch of PDFs, which was paperwork describing how to do most of the things that I've showed to you on here today. But what I want to point out is there are a lot of resources out there that each one of us can pay attention to, and if we do pay attention to it, this will help us. And this video series, it covers several other topics, and there are other slideshows that we will be putting out there soon. Thank you.